And welcome everybody to ASD Live Breeders' Cup Edition, but it's on to Saturday. It's the older horses knocking it out of the park. 12 races are offered. We're going to zero in on races 4 through 12 as they are the breeders' races. Stretch, are you ready to go?
Absolutely. Hopefully if you played Saturday, thanks for tuning in again. Maybe we helped you out there. Hopefully you saved some money for Saturday. The pools on Friday were big. How about Saturday?
Ooh.
That's another level for that. Also appreciate all the comments on throughout the show and on YouTube and stuff. Certainly appreciate it. We learn stuff good and bad from those. That's fine.
We definitely do.
And so here we go. Oh, I have a story, but I'm going to save it. I have a story time later in the race. It's a classic race.
Okay.
I'll tell you all about it. Here's it's cloudy. Look at this.
Weatherman.
Yes.
It's all you.
Well, no, there's a little bit of me.
Oh, look at that.
There's some cloud rolling in.
Yeah, there's Kirt rolling in.
Kirt rolling in. It's still supposed to be fast and firm. As you can see, mainly sunny. Just a little bit of Kirt in there. So let's see how that goes. Obviously, check the weather and also check the scratches. This is obviously
that's key.
This is not ASD Live. It's the pre-taped show a couple days in advance. So stay tuned. We'll give you that information, but adjust accordingly. By Saturday, you're going to really know the track surface, and the breeder starts in race 4. So
yes.
You get to watch a couple races before that to really jump in.
All right, let's kick it off here. We got the filly and mare sprint, won last year by Goodnight Olive, going the 7 furlongs. Who do you like, Stretch?
Okay, yeah. So they tweak the order every year a little bit, so the last race is not the classic, but. Like, who are we kidding? We're staying for all the races. Put them
definitely are.
Put them in whatever order you want. We're playing them all. So here we go. The key for me basically is the 7 furlong horses. I like to find the horses that run the 7 furlongs. As you can see, Kirt and I have the same 2 top picks. And I went to the 9 as my top selection. I just watched this horse and how this horse is improving. It's one of this horse. The horse can stalk, go to the lead. The figures are already ahead. My figures that I kind of use are already ahead of the other ones. And I think this horse has more to offer. And so if those numbers go up even a little, watch out. Solid play for me.
Yeah, even though she is a 3-year-old against older at this time of the year, that really doesn't matter whatsoever. But what I also like about Ways and Means, look at when Flavian Pratt rides the horse. Well, yes, does have the last 3 wins. The other 2 times he rode it, a win and a second. So he has not been worse in second. He knows the horse better than anybody else. So I do like the 3-year-old filly also. But Society is my horse because this horse ran a big race last year in the sprint, ended up 4th behind Goodnight Olive, and did have a little bit of trouble in there. The first start of the year did come up a little bit short. You can work them into race shape, but it doesn't always work that way. It had the pressure by the head of the lane, and they were bumping all the way down. So if you're not dead fit, I think it knocks a little bit of the air out of you, but made amends last time out and blew the doors off them. I think Society is going to show its best race today.
That's fair. I completely agree with you. 6 or 7 in the money, 4 or 7 at the distance. I also like, just to add to that, doesn't need the lead, but also as a workout at Del Mar. I do like horses that have raced elsewhere or haven't raced there and have worked at Del Mar. I upgrade them, then they can kind of get used to it. 4 is my my 3rd selection. Basically another one of those at 8 for 8 in the money at the distance. Did lose to the 6 the last time out, but I'm just going to give a bit of an excuse. Some horses don't like Saratoga, and so not at Saratoga was the favorite last time. Maybe this one just gets forgotten about and going from the favorite to a price horse. Couldn't leave it out, but I'm 964.
Yeah, and I took the 10 horse over the 4. Scylla last time out did beat Fava by a length, and I think that was a really good race that Scylla did show. I don't like that it has the outside post, but it will be in a good stalking running style in here, so I think we'll be able to overcome it, and the horse has yet to run off the board in 9 starts with 5 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. So I think Scylla, with that forward running style, can hit the top 3. So I'm going to give you 6, 9, and 11. On to race number 5. It is the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, 5 furlongs only. Nobles was the winner last year, returning 12-1 or $26 on the board. Stretch. Wow. This was a tough one.
Obviously.
And you can tell it by our picks.
We've got half the field.
Yeah.
So
hopefully
that's,
somewhere in there we have a winner.
Hopefully we've got this. We've got 3 girls, 9 boys in here. Obviously a fast pace expected. I was watching on the app. You can watch the Breakfast at Breeders. This is not my story, by the way.
Okay.
And
just an add-on.
Just an add. It is just an add-on. They were talking to Corey Nakatami about how come he won so many sprint races, and he talked about patience. You would think, you don't need the patience. You got to go at the 5 furlongs. And he said if you could wait and just kind of relax and let the horse do the work, especially at the 5 furlongs, 6 furlongs he mentioned, that's huge. I thought that was a really good insight from a Hall of Fame jockey. So we've got 12 horses. Expect a bad trip. Remember, if you watched the previous show, my horses only lose if they get bad trips. And so I do like the 2 for many reasons. This horse is 3 for 3 at Del Mar, 3 for 5 at the distance. This horse is the same pattern coming in as last year. Had some trouble. This was my horse last year at paying a much lower price than I'm going to get. So I had to include this. Your horse in that race actually beat mine because mine had trouble. And
yeah, of course it did.
Of course it did. Anyway, I think this horse looked so good last time. Toyed with that field. This horse was so far back. It only won by, 3/4 of a length. It was going away. I think this horse is setting up for a top effort. That's why Kurt's probably going to add that. Maybe Adam change the picks because Stretch has found one.
Well, I do have the all button in here, so I do have all your picks, Stretch. At least on my pick 3s. I ended up going to number 1, Believing. Yes, it's been beaten by number 12, Bradsell, in back-to-back races. But Bradsell just got the trip both times. Ran out of ground. Believing was fighting to the wire. But when you don't have that pace set up in front of you, it's really hard to reel in those speed horses. But I think there is enough speed with Coburn, the 9 horse, Bradsell, AG Bullet, the 5. So I don't think there is a lack of speed in here. But the way the horse likes to sit just in behind again, draws inside, Ryan Moore, he gets along with this horse really well. And you see in 3 of the last 6 starts, has a couple of seconds and a win. So I'm just thinking all about the trip in here.
That's absolutely. The favorite's probably going to be the 9. Don't you think the 9's going to be?
Yes, definitely going to be the 9.
And so it would be silly to leave out the 9.
Well, that's what I do.
It's a wide open race. I couldn't leave this horse out. 3 for 3 this year, open lengths, all graded stake wins. Could grab the lead, just is running so well. Top effort, might not have a troubled trip because could be sitting in just a garden spot or grab the lead. So that's why my 9 is the second selection.
Yeah, and I did take number 12, Bradsell, for second. How can you go against horses won 3 out of its last 4, all in graded company, and has yet to do anything wrong? And look at the size of the fields. The last 2 races, 16 horses, 18 horses, 12. That's what I like to see because you're fighting everything. You're fighting the inside, the outside of the track. As those Euros, some of them are on one side, the other side. They all go up the middle sometimes. It is an absolute show to watch sometimes. But Bradsell has overcame everything in those last 2 starts to get a win and a second, beating 32 other horses. So Bradsell, even though the outside draw, got to throw him in.
Yeah, great ad about the field size in that because that is such a good handicapping angle that I really pay attention to. I upgrade horses that do win those races or run second, or even that other horse 5 beating a half length or something.
Yes.
And so for sure. I went to the 8. I believe this was your horse last year.
Big Invasion, it was.
And so it was a great selection. Now you've jumped off, which is good. Because we know we know
when I jump off, Stretch catches. Just plain and simple.
So this was a no-brainer add in here. This horse went off at 12-1 last year. I think this horse is going to be a longer shot. Last race, yes, wasn't very good, but that was 6.5. Now cuts back 5 of 6 at the distance, first or second. Can't leave it out. 298.
Yeah, and the other horse I like is number 6, Star of Mystery, another Charles Appleby horse. This horse last time out ran out of ground, beaten by 3/4 of a length, drew the inside, never got out of the gate, had to encounter traffic trouble till it got to the outside and came flying and lost. But the previous races, all good. Lost to Coburn 3 outs ago, but the horse was unfamiliar being forward in the race, only 2 lengths off an opening quarter of 21-1. Expect this horse to be further back, make the late charge. Going to be a good price. I'm giving you 1, 12, and 6. Now on to race number 6. It's the Breeders' Cup Distaff. They're going to go 1 mile and an eighth. Idiomatic was the winner last year and was the favorite at 560. Stretch. Who do you like?
Yeah, so there's always some races in the breeders. There's just some standouts that just look so good, and I think that's the case in here. We both have this horse as our top selection.
Hard not to.
100%. It's like her only loss was to Fierceness. Turn in a few more races. That this horse is the second choice in the Classic, and so I liked her last race. I thought it was an okay race for her. But 2 back was such a big effort. So there's the slight regression. Now a big effort is coming. If she runs back to the Traverse race, 2 back does not lose this race. I think she's going to get a great trip. You're not going to get a price. Everybody can read the form. Top selection.
And that race 2 outs ago, if you don't know, that was against the boys and now back against the girls. And Torpedo Anna, if you look at this race, there's a real serious lack of early pace. Torpedo Anna is natural, will go up, be close. You might even see Torpedo Anna on the front end. And if that is the case, that means that it is a slow pace and they're going to have a real tough time catching her. She is also my top play, but I did throw in number 3, Batacuda, my buddy Safi Joseph, who knocks him dead at Gulfstream Park. This one ran a really good race against Raging Sea last time out. And what I like is it sat a lot closer than the previous start. It seems like every second start, the horse is forwardly placed. But does that mean it's going to be coming off the pace today from deep? I sure hope not. Safi, with the way he wins races, he knows. And Santana is aboard. I think they're going to be right up there. And with that lack of pace, as I say again, hopefully there isn't a huge pace. This horse can run a big one.
For sure. And I went to the second. The 6 is my second. For me, it was kind of the clear second choice for myself for the North American horse. This horse likes to win. Distance is not a problem. 5-7 at the distance. Talking about the lack of pace could hurt her chances. So it's going to be, you have to have that extra kick. But even if the 2 gets away, maybe it's in a photo with the others. So I had to use the 6. And then I'll talk about the 9 is the unknown horse. 7 for 7. Lifetime coming from Japan. So I watched this last race. This horse was touted being special. It was basically an afternoon workout. I didn't check as much as the research you have done.
Yeah, I never went underneath on this horse and
that's
check
fair,
everybody.
for sure. So I had to include it because the unknown out of the north not in there. So I had 2, 6, 9 for me.
And I'm 2, 3, and 6. On to race number 7. It's the Breeders' Cup Turf. They're going to go 1.5 miles. Augusta Ron was the winner at 5-2 or $7 last year. Stretch, what about this affair?
Yeah, so interesting here. We got 2 girls, 11 boys. The Euros actually do quite well in here. It's kind of a match race. 7 Euros versus 6 North American horses in here. I wonder if there's a bet in the book out there, North American. So I'm going to try and find one because I might be betting that somewhere out there. That'd be a good one to even include in that.
Yeah,
but,
it would be interesting.
Also, a neat stat here. Aidan O'Brien has hit the board with at least 1 horse the last 9 years.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, I'm getting all these stats for you. So, but all this mumbo jumbo that I'm blabbing about, I don't really have a strong opinion. Do you have a strong opinion in this race?
Well, Rebels Romance. It actually won the turf in 2022 at 6-1.
So you do have a strong opinion.
I do.
Okay.
And that race 2 outs ago was a great race against Goliath.
Keep going.
Well, where was Augusta Rodden last year's winner? Well, it was in that Goliath race. Obviously doesn't show up. Why? It ran 5th. Rebels Romance did beat it. And that race last time out, this horse is just a win machine. 10 for 13 at the distance. 14 for 21 in the win column lifetime. It's either win or nothing for this horse. And that's why Rebels Romance, with its nice running style and Breeders' Cup experience, there is a lot of things to like about this horse.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the training and just timing this race perfectly for this horse to run a big effort. I think we're going to lack some value in here in a big field. But the horse certainly is the horse to beat. And so I went to the 6 horse as my second selection, and I was hoping this horse was going to be in the Breeders' Cup, because if you watch that last replay, and I was watching it that day, and might have had a bet on that race in there, because why wouldn't I? And this horse had a terrible trip. All sorts of different things happened. I don't have time for another story there, Kirt. But I thought this horse is so versatile. I think the jockey can adjust. You're getting morning line of 6-1. Might even get a little bit higher. Yeah, maybe it's a tougher field, but given that clean trip, has a shot to be at least in the exactor.
Yeah, it's surprising. I don't like a lot of the Japanese horses. Only a few of them this year. But Sheridar, the 3 horse, is one that I do like. Last year was in the Breeders' Cup turf and ran a really good third against Augusta Run. Says traffic. It actually wasn't that bad. But what I like about it, it ran that good second to Rebels Romance. And that's the one I think is the best in here. Well, if it lost by 2, obviously it's competitive. A lot of the others I don't like in here as much. And then last time out, ran against Northbridge in that grade 2 race, but just didn't seem to handle the track. Didn't look like the same horse that ran those previous races. I'm looking for horses with Breeders' Cup experience, because that ship over, that is not an easy thing to come to North America, go to another track. Some horses definitely will not handle it, but this horse has showed that it can handle it. So I got to throw it in at a good price.
Absolutely. And I just gave you the stat about the Aidan O'Brien horse. I had to include one in the top 3 because that would be silly to not include one. And so I decided to go with the 10. Yes, 3-year-old filly. Yes, silly. I have made worse selections for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. A 3-year-old filly.
I know.
It's
I
older
know.
boys.
So this horse, I watched again the app, which is a breakfast at the breeders, and Aidan O'Brien takes all his horse, Aidan's army, and they all go out.
That's
and
crazy.
It is crazy. And they walk around, and this horse did not look out of place against some older horses. This horse is growing, looks so good. One of the announcers were mentioning, it was not me, that said how good this horse looked. I think this horse is improving. Aidan is not putting this horse in here if he doesn't think this horse has some kind of chance. And so, yeah, a lot of gains. Morning line 15-1. Had to include it. The other one I could have taken was the 4. So if the 4 runs in there, my picks are 11-6-10 or 11-6-4. It just depends. We'll go 11-6-10 right now. Go ahead.
Why don't you go 11-6-10-4?
Okay, yes, that's what it is.
There you go. And I added the 5, JRB. This is an interesting one. In its last 5 races, 3 wins, a second and a third. So it looks like this horse is peaking coming towards the race. And that's what you really want to see. You don't want to see a horse regressing coming in. And while it used to be good, you're betting those horses. You're going to be throwing away money on short-priced horses. I think there's going to be a little bit of a price on this one. It is a 3-year-old tackling the older. I don't see that being as a problem, but I really like the turn of foot that it showed last time out, drawing off to win by 2. So I'm going to give you 11, 3, and 5. Now we're going to carry on to race number 8. It is the Classic. They're going to go 1.25 miles. White Abario was the winner at 5-2 or $7.20. Stretch, who do you got in the Classic?
You're not going to say that Stretch picked it last year. So anyway.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Anyway, that's only $7 or
yeah, there you go.
It's not really anything to. And remember, that's old news. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Neither do I at this point. I think it's.
What have you done for me lately?
Correct. I think it's an extremely competitive field. Looking forward to the race as always. It's just for me, I don't have any standout or strong opinions in here. I like both of Kirt's top 2 selections. Obviously, not leaving this out. I think actually 7 or 8 in here can win it with a top effort. So that's what makes it extra tough. I think it's just a matter of because it's so close. I had to find a bit of a price. So I'll go to the 13. I like this horse's last race. I thought this horse needed a race. and the distance won't be a problem at all. They added blinkers because if you're watching the replay, this horse is checking out the crowd in the stretch, looking around, and this horse started with blinkers early in the career. I heard, again, listening to some news, you don't really want to make, it might have been Corey again, talking about changing right before the race, but this horse had the blinkers before, so maybe it's just trying to get this horse focused. You're going to get at least 20-1. I had to take a shot in there just in case the top two don't fire. Like I said, I do like both of your top selections. There's no chance I'm leaving them out, but let's take a shot and light the board in the Classic with the 13.
Yeah, I had to go to number 1, Forever Young. What a race in the Kentucky Derby. Well, Forever Young got robbed in my eyes. Absolutely got robbed. Was there interference down the lane? Did Sierra Leone throw a body check inside the 8th pole? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But Forever Young, in the end, third, only beaten ahead, had to do the ship in, had everything going against it, and still ran so good. Shipped over back to Japan, only had one race since, which is kind of crazy that there is only one race in there, but it looks like it was just a paid workout as the horse drew off by a length and a quarter. And I love that field size, 15 horses, and made it look easy in the end. Forever Young has a really good running style, doesn't have to be way back in the field. It was forward in that last race that it just won in the Dirt Classic over in Japan. So I think this is one special 3-year-old, and I think it goes through Forever Young.
I completely agree with you. I'm still bitter about the Derby, so I couldn't put the horse. So I had the horse in the Derby, so it's like I'm still shaken up a little bit. So you nailed every key point in there. Completely agree with you. It's the bitter place third position there because of the Derby. Anyway, you're absolutely right. It's story time about the 3. So about 3 weeks ago, I was in Vegas, and if you've been there, you're watching all the different races, and you start talking to different people. So I talked to this person from London, England. He says, I've got a tip for you. I'm going to give you City of Troy. Like, as if I've never heard of City of Troy. It's like, I didn't want to ruin it. It's like, okay, thanks. So I write it down. And anyway, he goes on and on how great this horse is. The one information that Steve was his name, by the way.
Okay.
Steve gave me the tip, so I appreciate this. That the one race this horse lost, didn't like the footing, and there was a problem there.
Well, obviously there was something.
Something there. So anyway, Steve's helping me out on the pick. Not really. But watching the workouts in the morning, the dirt is no problem at all.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, that's huge because the turf, you see a few of these horses, always turf, going in the dirt, big question mark. What I like about this horse in the Juddmonte International, I had to look at who it beat, and the horse that ran second in there had 3 wins and 3 seconds coming into the race, and 2 of them were graded. So it wasn't like it beat just an average horse in there. It beat a really nice one that hasn't finished worse than second in its lifetime. So I think that gives even more to City of Troy. That's why I had to put it in second. And I'm rounding it out with Fierceness, the probable favorite, right beside City of Troy. But Fierceness, what can you say? Won the Jim Dandy, won the Travers. Yes, ran a bad Kentucky Derby, but that was a bet against with all the speed in there. But there isn't as much speed in this race, so I think Fierceness will have a better placing. So I'm going to give you 1, 3, and 9. Now we're going to carry on to the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. They're going to go 1 mile and 3/8. Inspiral was the winner at 5-2 or $7. Stretch. What about in here?
Yeah, okay.
Looks like we got the same picks.
We do, kind of the same kind
there?
of things. Euros do very well. There's some races they don't. This is one that they excel at for sure.
Well, I know 4 years ago I wasn't picking the Euros, but I seen you cashing tickets, and I'm with you, Euros in this race.
Yeah, so hey, at least you're adjusting, and that's
Yeah,
the biggest thing. You have to adjust. And so obviously I'm starting. Aidan O'Brien, very successful in this. So obviously I'm starting on this one. I've got to get to the right race. I should
Warlike
probably...
Goddess.
Yes, thank you. Now I'm starting with No, I'm all over the map. Warlike Goddess. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So
Well, at least that's what it looks like.
that
you
is
picked.
Warlike Goddess.
Okay.
I should be taking the other ones, but I watched this race and I appreciated this race. This is this horse's last race of the career. Then probably going to breeding or whatever they're going to decide.
Oh, for sure. That's where the money is.
For sure. And so this was an interesting race last time. This horse always has that one big kick. This one obviously sat at the back, had to go early because there wasn't that much pace, got the lead, and then tired late to Farbridge. It got elsewhere in a previous race. I think the cutback is the key also for this horse. I know some people are saying this is a horse to play against, but I just had to include this horse. I'm spreading with the 3 horses that we've mentioned, but I just had to include it. And because it's her last race, let's take a shot and go out with this horse. I've made a lot of money with this horse over the years.
Yeah, and the last 2 times it was in the Breeders' Cup in 22 and 23, it went against the boys. So Augusta Rodden last year. So, this is a much easier spot for Warlike Goddess. You see, she runs against the boys. It doesn't matter. But I do like her for a top 3 finish. But I'm taking a shot on Full Count Felicia, the 2 horse. You have it in there in 3rd. Wow, that race in the EP Taylor. That would have been one that I said the gas pedal is stuck as the horse opened up and was almost a furlong and a half ahead of the field and just an absolute cruise control and was able to sustain and won the race in the end, beating the favorite Mora. But what also I like, look at that workout coming in. 57. If it always works in 57, that's a whatever work in my eyes. But the horse is working 49, 50, 58, almost 59. All of a sudden throws a 57. That means she is feeling good. Irad Ortiz hops aboard. There isn't any speed to go with Full Count Felicia. This might be one of those freaky ones, up by 20 and holding on to win, maybe even by a lip.
Completely agree. It's one of those, we've got 14 races. I lost track of my notes. Thank you for saving me. So I was all over the map on this. I do like this horse, and you mentioned that I think, what do we got, 12 to 1 morning line?
Yeah.
I think you could get
quite
high.
surprising.
You might even get even higher because they may jump out. I like your top selection. And you make some valid points. We're both on the 3. This horse also could have been the reason this horse is not my top selection, like this horse last time. Missed a start on September 14th, was scratched out of the race. Fortunately, I don't have the information of what kind of scratch it was, but that August race basically toyed with the field. And just if this horse continues to improve, might be the new queen of this condition. So I'm sticking. I think it's one of these 3 that win the race, but I'll go 4-3-2.
Yeah, and I also like the 3. Those 2 races, just dynamite on the North America circuit. Those previous races, only one bad one is won 6 out of 7, 4 out of 5 this year. So I think this could be, like you said, one of those future stars that are going to be 1-9 every time she does hit the racetrack. So I'm going to give you 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to carry on to race number 10. It's the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Elite Power, last year's winner, also at 3-2 or $5.40 stretch. Wow, the top 2 again. What's going on here?
What is going on? So many to choose from. And
yeah, there is a little bit of everything, but can you agree? There's a pile of speed in here.
Exactly. That's my headline for this one. I think you're going to be, even for this level, it's going to be an above par early pace. I think there's too many that seem to need the lead or want the lead. So that's why I went to the 10 as my top selection. I think this horse can stalk. I'm not a big fan of taking a 7 furlong horse. I always worry a bit about that. But I just think this horse is going to be in the right spot and make that nice late move. And so I just couldn't leave this horse out. It did show speed last time, but I watched how the jockey rode this horse. It was kind of like, somebody come after me. I don't need the lead. And so that's why I think this horse can just sit back and make that late move.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Showing that little bit of an off the pace running style, that that is so valuable, especially in a race like this where there is all that speed. So Mulligan, I do like. Remake the 9, the other one that we like in here. Well, what can you say about this one? Went over to Dubai, ran fourth behind Don Frankie and Nakatomi, but never had a great trip in there. Seemed uncomfortable a lot of the start, but came back with a good win as the favorite in the Korean Sprint. Probably a real easy race, but I like tighteners like that. This is a horse that knows how to win, winning 5 out of 9. And the couple other races against Don Frankie, the horse almost ran it down as the horse had loose speed. So I said it earlier, trying to run down loose speed, not an easy task. Well, I don't see loose speed in here, so it's going to be a lot easier to close.
Yeah, good call. This horse did lose to a couple, but you made some good points, and this is where you get the price. And I think this is just truly one of the true closers. I included the 3 just to put this horse because I think this horse is the sharpest horse in the race, just running so well. But here's a good example. You're reading about all the information before the draw, and you don't know who's in or what the post position is. I still using this horse, but there's a few that we even talked before that you would have liked and people are touting, but you don't know who's racing. So really, just because you like the horse before the draw, be ready to adjust. I think this horse is the speed of the speed, only on the improve. Here's a perfect example of how the track is playing. Maybe inside or outside might be better. So depending on that, you're going to maybe adjust it if speed's holding and closing horses are not getting there. So I'm 10-9-3.
Yeah, and the other horse I use is number 4, Nakatami. Was beaten 3 outs ago in Dubai. Lost to Don Frankie, who was battling on the front end and just lost the photo in there. And did beat Remake in that same race, but then came back, beat a loose Skelly in the next start, ran down that loose speed, but couldn't catch Federal Judge last time out. But it wasn't a great break out of the gate, kind of sat back and made a belated rally for second. I'm expecting a way better kick down the lane, so I'm going to give you 9, 10, and 4. Well, on to race number 11. It is the Breeders' Cup Mile. They're going 1 mile on the turf. Master of Seas was the winner, paying $860 on the board. Stretch, what about this race?
Wow. 4 girls, 8 boys. I always like this race. Just so many great finishes. I don't always pick the winner. I just like the finishes in here. This is my long shot play of the day that you've included in here.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
look at that.
I got a little
somebody's
piece.
been watching replays too. If you don't know, we both watch replays.
Lots.
Yes, and so we see the same things. We've been doing this for now 5 years, so it's kind of whatever, good and bad on different things. But in all seriousness, I've watched the last few races, and especially watched the last one. This horse sits back, starts to make the move, and then has to move to the outside. And the key, once this horse gets that clean area to just run and the jockey says, let's go, wow, what a turn of foot. This horse needs to obviously break a little bit better and get in position. 20-1, can't leave this horse out, or I don't think you can. There's too many good things. The horse it lost to went City Slicker. It's not City Slicker. Not even close to that name. What's the name of this one?
Carl Spackler, the 12. City Slicker. I'm going, what race are we on now?
So, City, Carl, wow.
Carl Spackler.
Sure, that's what I meant, obviously. I've had butchered names. I am apologizing to the owners on that one.
They're not watching us.
That's probably not
You're good.
true. Okay, anyway, this horse got loose and ran a very good race. I can't take anything away, but compare the 2 trips and the price it's going to be, have to include the 8 as my top selection.
Yeah, I love the 8 in here. I went to number 9, Johannes. This horse hasn't run a bad race. And what I also like, home field advantage in certain races. And this is where I think this horse is going to play 4 for 4 at the distance, 4 for 4 in 24. Loves to win, 7 for 11 in the money. The only bad race, the blemish, was against Web Slinger, Farbridge, and Major Dude, where the horse never got out of the gate and so was a non-factor, sitting at the back of the field, not able to catch the horses that stayed up front. But the way this horse is running right now, I think will come with a big charge from just behind the leaders.
Yeah, no, a good call for sure. I went to the 7 as another one. Why would I take this one? But I watched again. This horse is a win machine, just wins races.
She is.
And so if you look back at last year's similar race, and then you look at her last couple races, you can see the growth and how much she's matured. I think she belongs in this field. I think that she was bet down last time. She's got the turn of foot. Again, one of those ones to couldn't leave out. I'm not a big fan of the 4-1, but that might be the price. I'm including it in sequence, but I just couldn't leave that one out.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the 3-year-old filly.
I know.
So,
You're on.
but you know what? I've been betting Australia for about 15, 20 years now since we got it. And when I started seeing 2-year-olds run against older horses, I remember Sunline was the best horse in Australia by a mile, and it was a mare. And she used to just beat him by 10 lengths with the greatest of ease. And that's why I softened on, well, it's a girl against a boy. She can't take it. But I'm just having a hard time with the 3-year-old filly in here. The other horse I do like is number 12, Carl Spackler. How can you not? 7 for 11 in the money, 6 out of 7 at the distance. Has a great stalking running style. Goliad, the 5, should be the one freewheeling on the front end with the broken gas pedal. But I think Carl Spackler's coming into the race in fine form, beating the 8s almost every time. Even though the 8s had bad trips, Carl Spackler still finds ways to win. So I like the 12 a lot in here. And just before you talk about Noble's speech, look at the odds on the 11. 10 Happy Rose 2 outs ago when it won. How come I didn't get a memo on that?
No kidding.
207 to 1. I have not seen that in a long time. It jumped off the page at me going, wow, wouldn't mind having a piece of that.
No kidding. What a good catch on that for sure. I'll just briefly talk about the 6. It's another one of those Euros. If you just look at how many, speaking of another win machine, a bunch of these, if you throw out that last race, it was on a soft track. This horse would be probably odds on if that horse wasn't there with that 5th beaten 6. And so that's one of those, maybe the sneaky one. You might get some value because everybody's looking at that race, forgetting the other ones. Tough race, 8-7-6.
Yeah, and that second place horse is a monster also. And I'm 9, 12, and 8. All right, we're going to close it out with the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. 1 mile, the winner last year, and retired after the race. Cody's Wish at $3.60. Stretch. Not ending on an easy one.
Not ending on an easy one. Briefly, again, we're talking to some people in the clubhouse about ending on this one. If you got to get out, this might be a good get-out race. If you've got any money left, we'll see how it goes.
I could always borrow money from Mom.
Yeah, yes, or the purse. Where's your wife with the purse?
Oh, it's the weekend, so the wife's there. Weekend. She's going to have it hidden because she knows I'm playing the ponies.
It's a little harder that way. 14 of them, not much room to the first turn. I think there's going to be trouble early and often. So, again, you got to maybe find a bit of a price play. I tried to, and I kept coming back to this horse just because I think this horse has that absolute perfect running style. There can be some pace. This horse, maybe hasn't over a mile a 16th, but struggles over a mile a 16th. But now they're only going a mile, which is so important on the various different distances. I think this horse should make that move. And hoping for at least 7-2.
Yeah, I'm looking for a closer also. There is speed all over this race. So I ended up going to number 8 Post Time. This horse has been beaten by speed horses. Last time out was a paid workout. Wasn't a little 100 grander. But I just like how it won with the greatest of ease. Drawing off to win by 11. Made a power move in there. And it was pretty to watch. If it would have been better horses in doing that, yes, this horse would not be 12 to 1 on the board. But I just like a horse that's going to be sitting in about 7th or 8th and making that late charge down the lane. Sheldon Russell knows this horse so well. And coming off that last race, I think this one's poised and ready to win at a price.
Yeah, that's your price. My price is the 4-horse 30 to 1 morning line. I think this horse, the cutback is key. Again, talked about a little bit too far. Yeah, it's kind of dirtied up the last couple races, but if you look back, has won at the mile, has the right running style, and May, with that speed backing up, certainly could get there. It's a small shot. It's a tough race for me.
Yeah, it definitely is. Also like number 6, Seize the Gray. Yes, it did win the Preakness going wire to wire. Most recently, the Pennsylvania Derby. But the race that stands out to me is the Pat Day Mile, where the horse sat fourth and then went on to draw off by a length and a half. I don't think Seize the Gray will see a part of the lead in here. I think it has to go in that stalking role. And if it comes with that race, I'm going to love the 10-1.
For sure. And I had to include a speed horse because, again, see how the track is playing. The worst thing is you take multiple closers and you don't have a speed, and the most speed grabs the lead and kind of keeps going. We've got the rail. That's the key. It's going to be fast to the turn. If you've played our races, you know that 7 furlongs. You don't like to leave this horse out. If it's not favoring, it's a stretch change alert. I wonder if Adam can adjust the video as it goes and get
I
it
don't know.
off
They're
there.
magical down there.
They are
in the
magical,
control
so
room.
maybe they can. So it's 9-4-1 right now. Heads up, Adam. Or maybe Beth can come back for the change alerts. That's how I'm going to end the card.
Well, maybe if you give her a purse.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's still over
Yeah,
that.
I do.
Okay. And here are our wagers in race 4 of the Breeders' Cup. Stretch, what do you got?
Well, we're going to start with the bets. I've been told by production crew I'm not allowed to laugh. I've got to be very serious. So I'm going to be very serious. I'm starting off with forget that. Here we go. $10 double, 9 with the 2-9. And then I don't want just a double. I need some action in the race. $10 exact wheel, 9 with 4-6.
And myself, I'm going after the pick 3. I'm going to take 6 and 9. Then I'm hitting the all button and then keying the 2. That's $24. And Stretch, what's your wagers in here? Race number 5.
All right, we're rolling along here. I like a horse a bit, but I just want to get the exacta box just in case. $3 exacta box, 289. Then I'm going to go 10 to win on the 2, bit of a price horse, and 20 to place on 2, just in case I get in a little bit of trouble.
And myself, I'm going to make it a little more simple. I like the 1 horse as a long shot, so I'm going to take a $1 exactor, 1 with all. Then I'm going to take a $1 exactor, all with 1. Altogether, $22. On to race number 6, Stretch. What do you have?
Well, here we go. Let's start with the Kirt bet, $5 tri wheel, 2 with 6-9, with 3-6-9. And let's go with the pick 4, key in the 2, yeah, all in on Anna in here, with 4, 6, 10, 11, with 1, 3, 9, 13, with 2, 3, and 4.
And myself, I'm going after the pick 3, and I'm also keying Anna the 2 with the 3, 5, 11, with the 1, 3, 6, 7, 9. But I'm doing a $2 pick 3 for $30. Race number 7, Stretch. What do you got?
Whoa, you're going a little bigger.
I am going a little
all
bigger.
right,
I
mine's
like
just-
this one.
Okay, you like this one. There's a great example. It's not one of my favorites, just a $2 exacta box, 6, 10, 11.
And myself, I'm doing a $5 exactor box, 3, 5, and 11. Okay, Stretch, race number 8. What do you have in here?
It's the classic. I should be betting more. I've got other sequence bets. I'm going with the price. I do like those top 2 horses, but let's go 30 place 13.
And myself, maybe I should throw your 13
I think
in
you
there,
probably
Stretch.
should.
I'm going to leave it out for now, but I'm going to take the 1 on top with the 3, 6, 7, 9, 11, 3, 6, 7, 9, 11. One of my favorite triactors. It's going to cost you $20. On to race number 9, Stretch. What are you going to do?
All right. Look at you. Okay, let's start with my pick 4. Taking a shot here. 2, 3, and 4 with 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. I'm on a budget. I got a pacement. That's why I didn't take all. Probably going to pay for it with 6, 7, 8, keying the 9.
You need me to read that for you? Because you said 5, 6 in there, and it looks like 4 or 5 to me.
Yeah, so the number's there. 2, 3, 4 with 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10 with 6, 7, 8 with 9. Check out the screen. Ignore what I'm saying sometimes.
And I'm just going to do quick and simple, 30 to win on the 2. On to race number 10, Stretch. What do you got in this one?
All right, another one of these tri-wheels. We're going to go 9-10 with 9-10 with all. And then 9-10, we're going to wedge it in there.
There we go.
With the all, with the 9-10. Total 36, each ticket's 18. Reminder, you can play different price bets. We're going to just keep it at $1.
And myself, I'm going to go after one of those rolling doubles. I'm going to do a double wheel 4, 9, 10 with 8, 9, 12. I'm going to do a $2 one for 18. On to race number 11, Stretch. What about this one?
All right, another one of those, the long shot, one of my long shots play of the day. 10 win on the 8, 20 place on the 8.
Well, I hope it comes in 8, 9 because I got 30 to place.
Ah, yes. Thank you
on
for
the
cheering
9.
for me. Yes. Excellent.
Well, I don't have the win, so I'll let you get the win. I'll take the place.
Appreciate that. Maybe an team exactor box 8, 9.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right, on to race number 12, Stretch. If you have money left.
If I have money left, if I have $100 in my pocket, it's going on the 9 to place. I have 100. If you watched the previous show on the Friday, I have another one of those. This will be a let it ride parlay. If I hit the other one, it's 100 place right now. If I have 100 in the pocket.
And myself, I'm going after the exactor. I'm taking the 8 on top with the 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, and then I'm going to reverse it. 1, 3, 6, 9, 12 with the 8. I'm going to make those $2 ones, so that's $20. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us this evening for our Breeders' Cup look here on ASD Live. Thanks once again, and may the racing gods be with you.